Hello, my name is Austin Habish, the founder of Think Catholic, and you're listening to the Summa podcast, where we study St. Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologiae in a way simple and insightful for anyone to understand. The Summa podcast is brought to you by Think Catholic. Taking 2 questions of the Summa a day, we'll seek to summarize St. Thomas's responses, discovering the brilliance of Aquinas and his Catholic faith. This is day 27. So let's get started. We're covering today questions 51 and 52 of the Prima Pars, that is, the angels in comparison with the corporeal and the angels in relation to place. The translation that I always use in these podcasts is the Second and Revised Edition translated by the Fathers of the English Dominican Province. And so here we go. Article 1, whether the angels have bodies naturally united to them. The answer seems obvious, but the question is worth asking because angels are intelligent, and as far as we can see down here, everything intelligent relies upon the body to derive that intelligence. As we've said before, the blind man, he doesn't know blue because he's never seen it with his body. Or looked at from the perspective of education, we teach a child what circle means, what a circle is, by placing various different colored or textured or sized circles in front of them, calling them all circles, and then allowing the child to grasp what they have in common, namely being a circle. They understand what a circle is. In both of these scenarios, our knowledge of color or particular shape is reliant upon the senses. It's reliant upon the body. So the body is required for our intelligence, but according to Aquinas, this is merely due to our imperfection, our lower grade kind of intelligence as compared to the angels. When he writes, the angels have not bodies naturally united to them. It belongs to the human soul to be united to a body because it is imperfect, not having the fullness of knowledge in its own nature, but acquiring it from sensible things through the bodily senses, as will be explained later on. In the intellectual nature, there are some perfectly intellectual substances which do not need to acquire knowledge from sensible things, and this we call angels. And we will treat on angelic knowledge versus human knowledge more specifically in the Summa to come. Article 2, whether angels assume bodies. Do angels take bodily form? Aquinas mentions that some thought in the Old Testament that the appearance of angels was only by way of prophetic vision, that is to say, only in the mind of the one seeing the angel. But St. Thomas says this is contrary to the intent of Scriptures. He says, the angels who appeared to Abraham were seen by him and by his whole family, by Lot and by the citizens of Sodom. In like manner, the angel who appeared to Tobias was seen by all present. From all this, it is clearly shown that such apparitions were beheld by bodily vision. The question is how? How can angels appear bodily? St. Thomas says it's not by way of being united to the material in the way that we are united to our material as matter, form, body, soul. On the other hand, an angel is not merely united to the material by way of affecting it, like an immaterial spirit might push a chair or a painting off the wall. Aquinas says that this body is also meant to represent the angel, like the dove is meant to represent the Holy Spirit. In his words, the body assumed is united to the angel not as its form, nor merely as its cause, but as its cause represented by the assumed caused body. By the divine power, sensible bodies are so fashioned, and this is what we mean by an angel assuming a body. How that is being done, Aquinas thinks, is that the angel is condensing the moisture and matter in the air into the shape of a body, like an especially thick cloud, he says. And I'm going to quote him through the Gilby translation here because it's very clear. Aquinas says, it is true that air does not normally retain shape or color, but when condensed, it can have shape and color as in the clouds. The angels then assume bodies of air, but condensed by divine power in an appropriate manner. Article 3, whether the angels exercise functions of life in the bodies assumed. When the angels assume a body, does that body eat and drink in such a way that the food is digested, like we do with our own body? St. Thomas says no, because of what has been mentioned before on how those bodies are made, what they are comprised of. He will also remind us that these powers, the vegetative power, the power to grow and to receive nutrition, the sensitive powers like sight, smell, etc., they follow upon the form or the essence of the thing, the kind of thing that we are. Angels are not that kind of thing. They do not have these bodily faculties or powers. They are only and simply intellectual substances. And so they can, by affecting matter, produce sound, so as to imitate speech. They can, by affecting matter, produce movement, so as to imitate locomotion, but they cannot do those things which require the faculties or powers that are bodily, such as we've mentioned already. Here are a few of Aquinas' words related to these points. Gilby translation on the first one, Aquinas says, "Where then life is lacking, which is the ability to act in certain ways, then the acts or functions of life must be lacking too. Properly speaking, the angels do not talk through their assumed bodies, yet there is a semblance of speech, insofar as they fashion sounds in the air like to human voices. Properly speaking, the angels cannot be said to eat, because eating involves the taking of food convertible into the substance of the eater. This is what the angel said to Tobias. When I was with you, I seemed indeed to eat and to drink, but you were seeing a vision." Question 52, the angels in relation to place. What then, after all, is place? Aristotle asks in the Physics. He then says, we assume then this maxim, place is what contains that of which is in the place. Place is no part of the thing. If one takes that coupled with the comment by Aquinas on Aristotle's Physics, which is, now just as place must be something over and above the contained body, so it must be something other than the containing body, due to the fact that place remains immobile while the containing body and everything in it can be changed about. We can arrive then at Aristotle's definition of place, which is the immobile boundary of that which contains first. First, to designate proper place and exclude commonplace. So the specific place you're in the room, as opposed to just being inside the house, being in this place in general. So are angels in relation to a place? Aquinas says, yes, but differently than you and I are in a place. We are in a place because we are extended in space. We have quantity, magnitude. Angels are related to a place by affecting that place only. Here is Aquinas. A body is said to be in a place in such a way that it is applied to such place according to the contact of dimensive quantity. So that's us. But there is no such quantity in the angels. Consequently, an angel is said to be in a corporal place by application of the angelic power in any manner whatever to any place. As an aside, the discussion of place may strike one as unnecessarily pedantic, but it is a very essential notion within very fundamental scientific discussions such as those being had currently around gravity and space and the differing theories concerning both of those, which I hope to, if we have the occasion in this podcast, to speak to briefly as well. Article 2, whether an angel can be in several places at once. Consider your soul. Where is it? Is it in several places? Well, not exactly. It is simply where it is acting, and that extends to the edges of your physical body. Your physical body, then, as considered as one thing, is in one place, following our definition of place. So even though your soul is everywhere your body is in one place, and therefore we can say your soul is in one place. And we have something similar in regard to the angels. Here is Aquinas' argument, leveraging the Gilby translation again. He says, the angel's power, on the other hand, being finite, does not extend to all things, but only to a definite, limited thing. What I mean is that when we relate anything to a single power, to that extent we unify it. Thus, as related to the universal power of God, the whole universe is one thing. And similarly, any part of the universe, as related to the power of an angel, is one thing. Since then an angel is in a place as his power applied to a place, he is never simply everywhere at once, nor in several places, but in one place only at a given moment. So God is everywhere because as being itself, his action encompasses or extends to all being. The angel, as a particular being, must direct his actions to a particular thing or a particular place. Now, that place, according to one commentator, can be as large as a candle or a continent, but is always considered as one particular thing or place. Here we may be led to contemplate that hierarchy within the angels for a distinction in the scope of the various hierarchies or angels' influence on earth, because we do see certain angels or princes being designated in Scripture as to preside over areas as large as an empire. We see that in Daniel 7, where the angel says to Daniel, "The prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, but Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and so I left him there with the prince of the kingdom of Persia." We will discuss the hierarchy of angels around question 108 of this volume. Article 3, whether several angels can be at the same time in the same place. Aquinas responds, "There are not two souls in the one body. Therefore, for like reason, there are not two angels in the same place. Like the soul, which is the most proximate, closest affecting or actualizing cause of the matter, which is your body, affecting the material of your body in a sufficient and complete kind of way, there is no need for another soul that would be doing the same thing at the same time, and there cannot be another. In the same way, if an angel is affecting a place, it is affecting that place as concerns its particular effect in an exclusive and sufficient kind of way. Yet, on the other hand, multiple angels may be having multiple and diverse effects on the same thing, and in this way be said to be in the same place. Think of the demon-possessed man in Mark 5 who cries out that he is possessed by legion, by many. What this means is that various different fallen angels are having variously different effects on the same man, or they are all united in the one effect on the man. To this point, Aquinas says, "Nor can it be objected that several individuals may row a boat, since no one of them is a perfect mover, because no one man's strength is sufficient for moving the boat, while all together are as one mover, insofar as their united strengths all combine in producing the one movement." In the same way, as commented on within the Gilby translation, it is written, "Indeed, there seems to be no reason in principle why several spiritual beings could not each cause a part of some general effect in the physical world, which in the case of possession would be an effect on a man's body and interior senses aimed at the overpowering of reason. So understood, the notion of several beings being in one place seems acceptable." And with that, we close our second episode on the angels. We have just finished questions 51 and 52 of the Prima Pars, which is the angels in comparison with the corporeal and the angels in relation to place. My name is Austin Habish with Think Catholic, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow.